Gaz Walsh back in the studio.
Hi.
Oh, I'm not even on camera. Fuck that up, no.
Yeah,
Right,
fuck
there you
that
go. Welcome back.
Welcome. I am
So,
welcome.
improvements this time round.
Yes.
It's not 90 degrees outside and 140 degrees in here with no aircon.
That is true, yeah. Got a cardigan on. Doing all right.
Cardigan, yeah.
Yeah.
The aircon is still on the blink though,
Okay.
but we'll survive.
I'm okay.
You'll survive.
Yeah.
We are going to do the disclaimer. We're going to be talking about. So later in this podcast, we're going to be talking about blockchain. We're going to be talking about, and when people talk about blockchain, they often associate investment and making shitloads of money off the back of an investment to blockchain. So none of what we're saying in this podcast is advice or guidance on how you should invest your money into blockchain of any form, any way, shape, or form. We are two morons who don't know what we're talking about.
I'm glad you said that. I was going to say that. I didn't know if you'd like to be referred to as a moron.
I don't. Well, if I don't do it, someone else will do it. Like you just did.
Yeah.
Oh no, I did myself, didn't I?
Well, we are morons.
Right, we're morons.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
we are not. I'm definitely not financially trained or anything.
No.
That's enough of a.
Yeah,
That's enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like so, basically, if you don't understand, don't listen to a fucking word we say when you're making a decision on where to put any of your money ever in anything.
No.
Right. Never mind blockchain. Anything at all.
Yeah.
Right.
We're happy now.
Unless it's Sin Eaters Guild.
You can do that if you want, I suppose.
Mate, what's happening with Sin Eaters Guild? What's
There you
going
go.
on?
That was
Lots
good.
of change.
Good segue. I like it. Well, yeah, there is a change. So anyone who's on the mailing list will have had like every year I do like an end of year. This is where we are, right?
Yeah.
What's happening? You playing
Go on,
with?
carry on.
Okay.
Yeah, look, right. When I'm looking elsewhere while you're talking, I'm looking at audio levels. I'm just making sure everything. I'm fucking professional, mate.
Well, I realise that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
Okay.
I do normally say it to guests. If I look above and right over you when you're
Yeah.
talking, I'm not falling asleep. I'm just monitoring.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Just imagine that you're still looking at me. Keep talking. Okay, so every year I do like a end of year, this is what's going down. And this year there was actually a big change. So at the last year's one was in the first year of COVID, pretty much, wasn't it? We just finished first year of COVID, and it was like was it?
Last year's what podcast?
No, not podcast.
Your end of year thing.
My
the
end of
sec.
year
Right.
email thing. So I sent a thing out, basically with my sort of response to how that had been and what I thought SEG could do as a company to combat that in the future if it happened again. So obviously supply chain issues, the fact that people were always online, just general COVID issues that we've all been aware of. And my response was basically, okay, so how do we get past the supply chain issues and all that? Well, let's try and get stuff made in the UK. So obviously our shirts are made all over the place. We get them from a supplier, printed with our stuff, and same with all the clothing. So how do you get past that? So you try and make it in the UK, and there would have been a price increase incurred with that. I would imagine, but that was the previous plan. And I've had a year to see how the world has responded to the pandemic in general, and how I've seen it play out. My idea about that being a good idea, the previous plan has changed. So we've got a new plan. So the new plan is basically that I think there's every chance this kind of thing can happen again, and there's every chance that governments around the world could make just as good a job of it as they've done this time and react in all sorts of lovely, unpredictable ways. So I don't see Sin Eaters Guild as being like our aspiration to be a proper clothing brand.
I define proper.
As in, like
The reason for its existence.
Well, yeah, there is for its existence. Like, there's no. We're not trying to bring out a new style of this every year. Get it in shops. Like have a collection, thing in collection, thing in collection. You know what I mean? As like you would expect for most clothing brands. So you got, let's talk about people we know. People like Through Dock. So Through Dock have good guys. Make good stuff. People like it. They are a proper clothing brand. They're looking at developing all their clothing all the time, making it better year after year, and that's their thing. It is the clothing and what the clothing is used for. That isn't SEG. And it's become more apparent. Like saying it's more about community, I think anyway. Because without the community, it's just a T-shirt with a thing printed on it. It's always been about the clothing has always been about showing affiliation to a certain way of thinking, I would say. So with that in mind, that's what we're going to focus on. It's developing the community and not trying to build a proper clothing brand in that way. Because I think down the line, I see all sorts of problems with that. I think certainly small clothing brands are going to struggle. Because I think large clothing brands, there's going to be a lot more pressure put on you about sustainability. Where's your stuff made? Who's it made by? What hoops have you had to jump through administration and manufacturing wise in order to make this? I'm not saying that's not a good thing, or that the idea of that is a bad thing, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying we shouldn't try and do all those things, but I see those as moving goalposts, and I see the potential for, with all of these things where it's kind of about doing more good, it can always move towards in a negative sense, to like an overemphasis on purity, and you can never be so pure. So the goalposts are always moving. Do you know what I mean?
So you see the main implication for these businesses that you think may struggle in the future, as being cost.
Yeah.
So the cost will go up if they want to stay in the game, and it'll become not sustainable anymore.
Not sustainable.
Pardon the fucking pun.
Yeah, not sustainable. So
but in that situation, I'm sure you thought it through, right? But in that situation, correct me.
Yeah.
But in that situation, isn't it likely that the cost of the goods would go up anyway across the market, and so consumers are willing to pay more for sustainably sourced goods, because that's where the bar is set now?
But it depends whether that's your aspiration, doesn't it?
Okay.
Do you have the inclination as a business owner to constantly have one eye on that and find out that the thing you made last week is no longer acceptable, and now you have this other thing to jump through? Now, if the clothing is your thing, it's your reason for being, that's fine. I mean, we can use Three Dogs as an example again. They're all about the technical quality of their clothing in order to fulfill a task. So are you too cold?
Will you stop
Okay.
observing when I'm doing stuff? I'm not even on camera. I could be out there having a sleep while you're talking away. Like I do that. For people listening, our air constant blink. I've pressing the button to start it again, and it's distracted Gaz.
Yes, I'm easily distracted. So that's what I say. If that's your inclination,
are you serious?
If you want
Easily distracted.
No.
Oh right.
No,
Okay.
so
Because I would have stopped fiddling.
No,
I would have hidden out of the way.
Just been a dick.
Right.
So if that's what you really want to do, if that's your aspiration to be a proper clothing brand, and it's about the clothing, then you have to jump through those hoops, and you have to develop that. That's what we're doing then, and that's your game plan. It's not necessary for me to do that because it's about the community. So, and certainly as a small business, it's a lot harder to do that. If you're a bigger business with bigger funding and all those things, those hoops are easier. So the idea is to focus on developing the community and just trying to find a way. Because I've always felt that there's a lot of people, obviously it's an international thing. There's people all over the world who are into this stuff and follow us and, get meaning from what we do. That should be the focus and developing that. But I've always felt that we don't do enough. As in, do we actually do good? Other than just to have a bit of inspiration for people and have a bit of sort of people feeling like they're a part of something. And when they're on their own going, I think like this. Is everybody else? Why does everyone else not see the world the way I do? Knowing that there's other people around the world who really do think the same as you, even though you don't know them, and you are part of that. Belonging is important. But doing actual good tangibly is something I would like to do more of with the company. And there's various ways I think we can do that, but the focus is just on the community over the clothing now. So if you think about the clothing now as more as merch, which sounds a bit crappy, but you'll always be able to buy the clothing. There will always be City Eaters Guild products, but it's not like we're going to be trying to develop, I think, like the jacket we were going to do. Now, I spent a year and a half developing this jacket. Yeah, and I've got one. I've got the prototype, but we binned it at the end because it was a casualty of me changing my mindset about where the company needs to go. If you know what I mean. So those sort of things where people say, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that." When are you going to do, some pants, some this, shirts? It's just not. It isn't the focus. Maybe it'll happen, but it's not where we're trying to be. We're trying to just get the word out to people to join the community. So I'm waffling a little bit, but that's the change with Seg and the focus. Yeah, we're just that's why we're trying to drive people to the Discord. So you're on our Discord. So it combines with our attitude towards social media as well. Now, social media, it's a reflection of us and of the way you use it, but I don't think they're particularly good actors. I don't know what your opinion on that is, but I don't think they're particularly good. Their business model doesn't take. There's some negativity there that they're aware
With
of.
social media.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they don't do enough about it, maybe. And then when they do things about it, it's not particularly balanced.
The drama you've got with them is that, so people will look at Zuckerberg, they look at, who's the guy who just stepped down from Twitter?
Yeah, Dorsey.
They'll look at whoever else, what's the other platforms in a minute? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram's fucking Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah.
And think, oh, they're inherently bad because they wield all this power. Well, they do wield all this power.
Yeah.
And they use it to their advantage, whether that be for business or for ideology's sake, what they think should be right.
Yeah.
And so they're inherently evil for that. But that's not how they've ended up there.
Yeah.
These people have ended up starting a mega business, going, holy, and Google as well, right? Holy shit. They ended up as the most powerful people in the world. Some of the most powerful people in the world. Who are driven by their own thoughts, feelings, opinions on how the world should work on a grand scale or on a small scale, right?
Yeah.
If that was you in that seat, well, maybe not you, bad example.
I'm a bad
but
example.
probably no, if it was you and if it was myself, and you found yourself in that position and had an epiphany one day and went, oh my God, I've got this power.
Yeah.
I should not be here, and step away. My first thought would be, hang on a minute, what if someone comes in who thinks differently, badly compared to what I think?
Yeah.
Whatever, and that's what I think the position they're in. But they're also almost a victim of the lack of governance over those companies. Because what was I reading there? What was I reading? Adam Smith, I mentioned to you, didn't I? Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations, written in 1776, basically saying how imperialism is the wrong way forward. Yeah. The best way forward is a commercial society.
Yes.
Which we know is capitalism. And there's a quote in that book, and he says, bear in mind 1776, and he says, basically, capitalism, commercial society is brilliant. It works very well. It's great for people. It's great for the economy. It's great for democracy. Blah, 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 blah. Unless you've got companies that are so, he says merchants in it, but companies, the word's all different. Companies that are so big that they've almost got a monopoly and they've got too much power. And then it can bring catastrophe. 1776. And you look at it and go, oh my God.
What's
it's exactly where we are now. And not just with social media either.
No, of course not. Yeah. But that's just it. Like, humans are humans, and we always do the same things, don't we? What thing? Sort of like, history doesn't say the same thing, but it rhymes. We tend to do the same sorts of things. I'm paraphrasing that really badly, but some people will be aware of it. But yeah, like, as it refers to social media, when Seg first started, it was really easy. You do everything organically, and you could just get in front of people. Obviously, you can't do that anymore. That's fine. That's their business model. So they've now changed it to pretty much you have to pay for advertising. It's an advertising model. You want your people who want to see you, to see your products, you have to pay. Now, I'm not particularly happy with the way that they're handling certain things. So I feel crap giving them money, right? I think, and it sounds over-principled, and to an extent, I've made my life really difficult by doing it. But we sort of decided at the end of last year we weren't going to do any more advertising with them. We were going to kind of just take what we've got and just go back to organic and word of mouth. And that is a dip. There's a dip there. There's a massive dip in reach. But we grew with word of mouth. So yeah, we basically we wouldn't give them any money anymore. I'm not saying that will never be the case in the future. We might have to do that. But currently, I don't particularly want to support the way that they're doing things with my money. Because there is a sort of moral and ethical standpoint with SEG, I suppose. It certainly tries to be like a reasonably principled thing. And a personal responsibility, my personal responsibility is directing the cash that my customers give me to a company that is potentially doing stuff I don't think is a good idea and is making problems. You know, for when I don't really care about the reasons behind that, but the output of what they're doing is not great in a lot of ways. So while they're not doing anything about that, or not, you know, while that's a bad situation, I don't particularly want to direct customers' money in that direction. So all these things compound into the state of where Sega is now, where it's something that exists. It's not desperately trying to grow. It's not desperately trying to make any more money. It's not trying to do any of those things. As long as Sega exists as for the people who are aware of it and may become aware of it in future through friends and whatever, and there's enough money in it to be able to support the people who work there, basically my brother and my brother's family. Because I that's another thing we can talk about, but I'm not paid by Sega anymore. I don't take a wage. So as long as that's a thing, it exists. And that's the main change, I would say.
You're still the gaffer, though.
Well, yeah, I'm still in the books, you know, and I'm effectively doing the same thing. So I still write all the blurb, and I'm still talking to people, and I'm still as involved as I was before, I suppose.
Yeah, no, just you made it sound like you weren't, but you weren't.
No.
Yeah.
It's just that my brother does a lot more behind the scenes now than he used to. That's basically what it is. But we said most people won't even know. Most people won't even realise that that's the case. You know, who aren't on the mailing list and who haven't read my little spiel I send out every year. They won't, and I think that's the case. Most people won't know any difference. But yeah, that's kind of what that is.
What is the purpose? What is the purpose of enabling that community, or focusing on the community as opposed to the switch? What is the purpose?
Honestly,
what do you want the community to be to achieve?
Well, honestly, I think we're at a huge time of flux. Obviously, the world's always in flux, but I think there's some big changes coming, and I think a lot of it's going to be really difficult. You know, we've seen this past 2.5 years. That's been hard times, and I get emails off the community already, regularly saying, "This little thing helped me get through this. This mindset helped me get through this." And I've always had that, but we definitely had more of an uptick during the last 2.5 years. You know, and it sounds like I'm big timing it maybe to the wrong person, but whatever. Like, we've genuinely stopped people topping themselves from just knowing that there's people out there who, when they look at the world and think it's gone mad, that there's other people who go, "No, I think it's gone mad as well. Just stick to your guns. This is like, you know, the whole personal responsibility and service. They are those core values. You are your actions." There's plenty of other people who think like that. You're not the only one. It's okay. You know what I mean? And I think that's what it's about. It's just like being a high five for people to go, these people do still value this mindset in the world, even though certainly for people who, you know, maybe have been completely sucked into the news and all that stuff, it's a warm fuzzy for people. And I think that's what it's about, is just keeping that going.
Was it as principled as you are, and as embedded in Cynthia's Guild as you are, being the fucking founder and the man behind it, how difficult was it a decision to decide to bring something else into your focus? Are you giving to services?
Hard. Yeah. It's hard. It's massively hard, because I mean, I've always said that Cynics Guild's a massive responsibility because it isn't just, there is that cult-like element to it. And let's be absolutely honest about this.
I describe you as a cult leader repeatedly.
I know, but it is a bit like that, and I'm not. Yeah. I do know that. I have like the self-awareness to know that.
The irony.
Yeah. But it is. There's massive responsibility with that. Personal responsibility. So I can't dodge it. So it's difficult. So I was always like, well, what if the business fail? What if the business actually does fail eventually? Or what if I just get absolutely licked with it and want to just sack it for whatever reason? So I think other things happen in my life or whatever. I can't do that. I'm stuck with it. And that's not meant to be said in a negative way, but it's a responsibility that I put on myself, and I've got to deal with it forever. So it's a big decision. So even if say it won't happen now, but what if we were bought out by somebody? So say, I want to buy your brand. I couldn't just give it to them, could I? Because they would fuck it up. Because the reality is, the only person that really gets it enough to navigate the nuances of everything is me. And that obviously sounds like an incredibly arrogant guy, but that's true.
It's safe to say that you can say it about Cynics Guild for all those reasons.
Yeah.
Like you said before.
So that's it. Yeah, it was a massive decision. Yeah, it's really difficult, and it's not like I say, I've not washed my hands with it. I am still basically still there. It's just the day-to-day running I don't do anymore. And I don't take a wage from it.
I can imagine you did a long time of due diligence before deciding to accept.
Yeah.
I reckon you got full paranoid about some I don't know.
Well, that's why my brain works, isn't it? It goes deep on things. So we should probably tell people what we're talking about. So,
I've been trying to lead you onto that.
Well, I know you have. I wasn't finished with Cynics Guild.
Oh, we not?
Well, I wasn't. I am now.
Oh,
when you first tried to lead me in that direction,
sorry.
I wasn't.
Sorry.
Okay. Happy. Yeah. Anyway, so
this is what happens when you don't plan the steps of a podcast.
Well, who's in charge here?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm now involved with a project called Giving Services, and it is a blockchain project. So it's a crypto token. Now, there's plenty of people who are just gonna go, see you later.
Switch off.
I'm out. So we're not going to. When we talk about this, I'm going to be so broad brush. So this is not for crypto people, if you know what I mean. If you're already into this, you already understand how the tech works, aim for you. I'm going to talk like morons, like me and you, even though you know what you're talking about. Yeah. So anyway, so I became aware of this company a while ago. So I've been aware for a while, and I've held this token myself for a while. And the reason that I got involved was primarily because I believe we're partnered. So Cynics Guild and Giving Services are partnered.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're official partner, or whatever you want to call it. So our goals are aligned. So we both believe in personal responsibility and service. Those things are both good things, and that's the whole UI actions thing as well. So when I spoke before about me not feeling like SEG can do enough tangible good, I've thought in the past about maybe I should, start a token to like a community crypto token to try and do some good with that and give some ownership of it and a bit of governance or whatever. But actually, it occurred to me over time that it makes more sense for Giving Services to be a method of doing that, which is why I took the job. So what Giving Services is, it is a method, when it comes down to it, of giving back to people in service professions. It's a way of redistributing wealth. That's probably the easiest way of looking at it. Okay? Thinking face. What do you think in face?
Oh no, that expression, I think redistributing Welsh makes it sound like Robin Hood scenario, but which I don't think is what you mean.
Okay.
Like yeah, exactly what you just said.
Okay. Well, we'll probably get to that in a minute.
Cool.
Okay, so what this is, Given to Services has a... So we're going to have to explain blockchain and stuff, aren't we? Do you think?
No, not really. So when I explain blockchain stuff,
Okay.
When I try and explain it in a way that people understand,
Okay.
right? Purge the word blockchain.
Okay.
Ignore that, right? And people.
I think we think about this the same way.
Yeah. So this is what we're talking about, or what it is. You invest your money again. This is why the fucking disclaimers at the start of this, right? We're not talking about giving to services here. I'm explaining
the concept
of blockchain tokens, the tokens in general.
So you're not going to go
across the board. The blockchain's a technology, right? But the token side of it. So when people think of blockchain, they think, oh, I'm going to make shitloads of money or lose shitloads of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And someone behind it is going to get really rich at my expense, maybe. Right.
Does happen.
Yeah, it does happen. Does happen. Right. So ignore the word blockchain.
Right.
Everybody knows about stocks and shares. You can buy a share. Put money into that, and maybe you will make money on that share. Maybe the company whose that share is part of may fail and you earn nothing. Yeah. That's how I liken it. It's the same thing. So a token is a share.
It's not.
Right? Well, no.
Okay.
No, but it's concept the same.
Okay.
You're buying a part of a thing.
Yeah.
Right? You're buying a part of a thing. You may make money on it, you may not. And that is dependent on the value of the thing, and it can fluctuate depending on a million different factors. When you bring that into blockchain, when you talk about a token, it's generally regarded as much more volatile, and the fluctuations can be much higher or much lower. And as you said, it's not the same as a share, but the concept's the same. You buy a part of the beast, and you can get money back or not on that. Now, the addition into that is the difference between blockchain tokens and shares is shares serve nothing but to make people money or lose people money. With blockchain, those tokens, i.e. those shares, those tokens, they serve a purpose in enabling whatever the technology behind it is part of.
Yeah, the utility of that thing. Okay.
That fair?
Yeah, I think that's okay. That'll work.
Are you happy?
I was down when we were driving down here in the car. I was like, how are we going to talk about this? How are we going to talk about it in a way that isn't going to shut people's brain off instantly, but also is going to make sense to people? Okay, so to make it very simple, we have a token. People who buy that token, okay, we have a token. We also have a platform, okay, an online platform. You can buy that token on an exchange, a crypto exchange. You can then, what's called staking, you can put it on our platform, right? It's called staking. Staking is basically just you lending your tokens to the network in order to help secure it. And for doing that, you get paid a reward, okay? So effectively interest. So by doing that, you get paid this interest, and you can take that interest every day. And it tends to be a higher rate of interest than you would maybe get in your bank because of the volatility that you're talking about. So the pound is generally pretty stable, so you don't get that much interest. Crypto, a lot more volatile. So to reward you for using it, you generally get a higher rate of interest. So the daily rewards that you can take, 4% of that we take and we give to service people for free. That's basically the concept. So and obviously anybody can buy these tokens. Anybody. Institutions, individuals, whatever. So if you're looking at for the distribution of wealth thing you were talking about there, if say you're a hedge fund and you buy a load of these tokens, the rewards that you're going to generate every day from the amount of money that you're going to be putting in are quite high. So that 4% that we take from that, it's a big number as well. So these people here are getting more wealthy.
As in the services people.
Well, both.
Yeah.
So
and the people.
There's this side, yeah. So they're putting their money on the platform because they're earning a lot of interest because they put a lot of money on the platform, as in institutions or individuals. But we'll talk about institutions. Institutions. The rewards then are higher. The interest they earn is higher. That 4% is then higher, and you're redistributing that to service people. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's from the service people's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say a member of the NHS, for example, registers with Given to Services.
Yeah.
And which doesn't cost them anything.
No.
The register would cost them. The register were Given to Services.
We should probably say now that this is later in this year. They will be able to later in this year they'll be able to download an app.
Oh yeah, because it's not. Yeah. Okay,
So later in this year they'll be able to download an app.
Yeah.
And just by having that app, SVS tokens will go into their app.
Yeah.
They'll get given them for free off other people who've actually invested.
Yeah. So so does NHS workers.
Yes.
If they want to register, get the Given to Services SVS tokens for free into their app, basically into their digital wallet.
Yeah.
And the relevance of that is, if they so wished, am I right in saying they can convert it into real money?
Of course they could.
Or they can spend it.
Or they could stake it back themselves and earn interest.
Yeah.
And get that sort of passive income there.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've not done that the best way we could, but I think that's basically the concept for people.
No, it makes so
It's really,
those beneficiaries who don't have to pay anything to register Given to Services, but are NHS, for example, they're getting a payout for free simply because of what they do
for a living. Yeah. It's like it's giving back. It's just basically thank you as a term. I hate the thank you thing because none of us want a pat on the back and none of us want to go thank you. We're not comfortable with thank you for your service, are we? Generally in this country, we don't do it. It's a bit stiff upper lip, but it is secretly nice to get a little bit of a high five, and that's basically what this is. It's the recognition that people do a certain job, and actually that job can take a toll on them over time, and their pensions aren't the best, right? And obviously we all know this when we go into it, and we don't really care while we're actually doing the job. But this is harnessing a technology to go, hang on, there's some people here who are investing. We can take some of their effectively profits and give it to you just for being a good dude and doing a good job. It's that sort of thank you. So it's like when people think of crypto, it's exactly like you said originally with the whole. So what would happen sometimes is that you would have a token and you would then target a group of individuals. So let's say we're targeting bin men, right? This token, we want bin men to buy this. So we really focus on getting all the bin men to buy this. Okay. Now I'm the guy who created this token. And I hold.
You're talking about a random token.
Random token, yeah. Random token, Binman token, yeah. Okay, so this is Binman coin. Okay, I invented Binman coin, and I hold, say, 50% of the coins, and the rest of them in circulation for people to buy. So I target the Binmen. Come on, Binmen, we get a big sales thing. Everyone come and buy this coin. As they buy them, coin value goes up. I get rich.
On your 50% that you sat on.
My 50% that sat on.
That you decided not to do any good with.
Don't do anything with it. I just get rich off these bin men. The bin men get some money as well. Obviously, when the token goes up, but they've got they might have 300 tokens, bin men tokens, where I've got 50 million or whatever. You know what I mean? So that when people think of Ponzi schemes and stuff like that, that's what you mate in the pub when he's telling you about crypto. That's what the non-believer says, isn't it? That's not a Ponzi scheme, mate. Those things do exist, and you have to be able to, look out for them. But that's not the case here. It's not the case because you do not have to, the people we're trying to help don't have to buy the token. You know what I mean? They don't have to buy it. There's people who will buy this because the people who buy it because they genuinely want to help. Brilliant. And I think this is, I think this is one of the different. Go on. Can you say something?
No, go.
I think this is one of the differences with like, you get different sorts of crypto people, don't you? I think anyway. You get like sort of crusaders, right? You get people who recognize that they can use their wealth and put it somewhere to enact something that they believe in. And then you have people who just want to get rich. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone wants to increase their general financial situation, don't they? Get better. No one wants it to get worse. But I think a lot of the vibe you have in the crypto community, the good side of it, is people go, right, did you see the thing with Constitution DAO?
No.
Okay. So this will be a tangent, but I'm trying to get back to the fact that I'm talking about crypto for good and using this as a good use case. And then we'll come back to the terrible way we've described fucking this in a minute. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So Constitution DAO, you know what a DAO is, don't you?
We described it fine. We described it fine.
Okay.
It's fine. It's
Yeah, but I want to do a better job of it in a minute. But I think if we contextualize it, I can come back and talk about it again.
Right.
Okay. I knew this was going to be like this. Okay. So, you know what a DAO is, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, it's a decentralized autonomous organization. So it's basically a low. What?
Oh no, I was thinking of fucking Dow Jones. Go on.
No. Okay. Right. Oh, right. Okay. I'm going to educate you on something.
Go on then.
Okay. Cool. So a DAO is basically like, think of it like a decentralized company full of kind of volunteers just working towards a task, right? And there's thousands and thousands of these things, and they all generally have like a sort of a use case. There's a thing that they're trying to achieve generally. Some of them are based on like computer games and things like that, but the example I'm talking about, Constitution DAO in the US, what they did was they said, wouldn't it be cool if we bought a copy of the Constitution? Because there was a copy of the US Constitution coming up for auction. They thought, what if we can just buy that? So they created this DAO, which is effectively a Discord group, right? And everybody put money into it.
They wanted to buy a physical copy of the Constitution.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So it's like really organized crowdfunding in a way in that situation. It's not like just a website. So yeah, they all came together and put their funds into raising money to buy this DAO. And these are people who don't know each other. They're all over the world, obviously mainly American because they were trying to do this. But it was about proof of concept. Can a group of dispersed people who just want to achieve one thing put some money into somewhere, organise, and enact something?
That is hyper focus, isn't it?
Yeah, right? And they nearly did it. They raised millions. Nearly did it. And then some hedge fund dude just went no, because they were basically, they failed because they were naive, and they made public what their maximum bid was that they could go to. Like, we can't go any higher than this. This is all,
God.
Yeah, very basic error. So they got done at the end. You know, they got done by someone more experienced who understood the system. And he literally just outbid them.
Apart from the proof of concept, what was the purpose of buying the Constitution?
Just it'd be cool. Wouldn't that be cool?
Who was behind it? Someone had to spark this.
Well, it's just people. That's the thing. These things don't necessarily have a centralized brain. This is the concept. It's decentralization. It's people all over the world going, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Or I believe this.
Idea. One catches a spark, and then everyone's that's the one. We're buying the Constitution.
Yeah. Now it's worth looking into DAOs, because like I did some part-time work for one at the end of last year prior to this. And basically I ran their social media. So there's a DAO called there's a company called Bagless, who are a really good sort of crypto podcast. It's worth looking at. And their sort of belief system is that eventually you can be your own bank, which is it's a crypto thing. You don't necessarily need centralized banking. You can be your own bank, right? Just you with your wallet, your crypto wallet. That's it. You're your own bank, and you can live in the crypto world and come out into the fiat world when you need to, but it's that personal responsibility of being sovereign and looking after your own financial affairs. Now, you can do that. Obviously, currently it's quite limiting. It ain't there yet, really, but you can do that.
It's only limiting because so few things you can pay for with crypto.
Yeah, exactly.
Most stuff is fiat.
Yeah, on-off fiat RAM sort of difficult. And we come on to regulation and all that. But yeah, So that's the case. So I did some part-time work for them, and I was paid to do it. No one knows who I was. I was on there pseudonymously. So it wasn't Gaz Walsh. I was another person. And I literally went on there and said, so their DAO is based down into, there's an education bit, there's a marketing bit, it's basically a company based just within a Discord group. It's organised very well, and they have their own token called Bank. And for running their Instagram page, making a bit of content and putting it on there, I was paid in Bank.
And it's called Bankless.
Bankless, yeah, Bankless DAO, that particular one. But it's, like I say, there's thousands of these things for all sorts of issues. But yeah, I was paid, and it's, I think for like 4 months' work, it ended up, obviously the Bank token goes up and down, but at the time of being paid, it was 600 quid for probably about, probably about 12 hours work over that time.
Oh.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's, the value goes up and down, so I hold those now. So as their project in general gets better, value goes up, I've got a nice little investment. Just from helping, from effectively volunteering, but being given a bit of their token.
Yeah, it's a gamble, isn't it?
Of course it is, but
It's
it's about giving.
Yeah.
It's about giving a bit of time. But I wasn't doing it. I wanted to learn how the DAO process worked. It was a part of crypto that I hadn't been part of before. I wanted to see how it worked in practice. So I had to be part of it.
So DAO is specific to crypto?
Well, it tends to be, yeah.
Well, the Constitution example wasn't specific to crypto, was it? They came together to try and buy the Constitution. What was crypto about it?
No, I think they had I'm fairly sure they had their own token that they bought that was then worth this much that meant they can go and try and buy it. I think that's the case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to read properly about it. There's definitely a crypto element behind it.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I say, these, just Google them. Wait, Google them, but go on Discord. Download Discord and search for this stuff. Twitter's a great place to find. Crypto Twitter is mega for learning.
Okay.
Anyway, the point behind it is there's these two sort of camps. There's the camps who really want to try and do something. They care about the philosophy behind crypto in general. Care about sort of decentralization, care about personal responsibility, personal sovereignty, those sorts of things. And then there's people who just go, well, that's it, 10 cents now. I reckon that's going to be £1 in a year. I'm going to buy that and just hope I make money. So there's two sides to it. And I'm obviously on the sort of philosophical side. I think you can, as an individual, try and do some good. So that's how I see giving to services. I see it as in, put me off with that. I see it as in,
sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I see this is an organisation that exists to make the financial situation of people who I respect and would like to help better. And the money in, so the people who buy the token, doesn't matter why they're buying the token. You could be an absolutely bloodthirsty hedge fund who buys the token, right? You could be a really well-meaning person who just wants to be involved in it and buy the token. When that happens, the token value goes up. More people stake it. The rewards are bigger. More people get helped. That's why I'm in this. It's that simple. So that's where, when I said redistribution of wealth, that's where I think that fits.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's basically it. And this is the best thing about it. And it is super. It's like, obviously, we're not a charity. We're not a charity. We're a business. There to make money. Because if we make money, we get to help more people. And it can be confusing for people because we are a charitable token. We are doing a charitable thing, but it's more philanthropy. And there's all sorts of connotations to do with that. So, as a service person, go on. No, go on.
No, go on.
Okay. So, as a ex-service person, do you like being referred to as a charitable cause, or in need of charity?
No.
You find that sort of offensive, don't you?
No.
It's
I know a few people who do.
It's uncomfortable.
like
Yeah.
that.
I know. So do I. Yeah. Reference people who annoy me. Yeah. So, but we don't feel like, because service people are some of the most capable people in society.
Yeah.
We see ourselves as the back, in an arrogant sense, I suppose. We see ourselves as to an extent, as like the backbone of the company, of the country. You know, without us, lots of things go bad. Without the people who are willing to put themselves forward, you know, I'll take the hit on that. And obviously we enjoy it. It's not like we get nothing out of it. It's mega. But yeah, we don't feel like we're a charitable case. So I think if you look at the definition of charity, it's to do with being needy, to be looking after a needy cause. Philanthropy is a private enterprise to improve standard of living, standard of life.
Got it.
So I would say that's where we are. So it's different when we sort of market, because we have to market. When we market and talk about ourselves, it's quite difficult because we have to walk that line of talking about ourselves as like doing charitable things, which we are. We are moving wealth from these people to these people who we'd like to help. We're not a registered charity. We're not a charity. We're a business, if you know what I mean. So although if in like rankings and stuff, we would be like the number one charitable token by market cap, which we are. Not a charity.
To be honest,
it's a great area.
until you, to be honest, I'd never even considered it like that.
Yeah.
That I'd never.
It's a problem. It's a problem with my brain, dude.
No, it's fine. I just realised. No, it's a good thing because I thought, oh, that's actually never occurred to me that I literally perceive it as I can put money in here, and there's a chance I could earn back on that, like significant sums or little sums, whatever.
Yeah.
But if all else fails, if I lose my X amount of pounds that I put in to buy, then in the process of losing, I've given into the pot that goes to these people I respect, and I would like to. It's like the bonus at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Well, these people are getting something. I'm doing it for nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing.
And it's hard for people to grasp it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's hard for people to grasp it. Like, if you do get the odd message going, what's going on here?
I like it. I look at the platform.
Because you're a holder. Let's be off.
I'm a holder. I'm a holder. Yeah. I'm a holder.
Yeah.
I'm a holder. And I when you told me about it, because I trust you, when you told me about it, I looked at it, went, that's interesting. Let's chuck something in there and see, mainly to see how it worked. Because you can't really see how it works until you're in it.
Well, that's a crypto
you can
thing.
Understand it. Yeah.
That's a crypto thing.
And I'll be honest, I log in every single day. Right. To the platform to see what what's changed, what the value of the coin's changed, what the return has been for my investment each day.
Yeah.
But it's partly, a big part of it is because I'm getting a kick because I know, that's another day where I've effectively donated. I've effectively donated to the pot.
Yes.
And that pot is getting used for this. And I'm like, yes. Well done, Hugh. Pat on the back. You're an awesome person.
Helps you get through the day.
But that's it.
But that's it.
And it's, that's it. It's like, there is that selfishness to it. It makes me feel good.
Well, I do.
Fucking shoot me.
Yeah. Well, this is it. That's where we're different. Well, not where we're different, but I know what that feels like. I ran an Oxfam shop for a year.
Yeah.
So I volunteered to run an Oxfam shop for a year when I first left the army, and I left in the end purely because I realised that I was doing it for those reasons. And I didn't if I was absolutely honest, didn't give a fuck about the people we were supposed to help. I was doing it to make myself feel better.
Whoa.
I know, but that's my psychology.
But at the very bottom, right? So
you are definitely doing good in that.
Yeah. No, but let's go back to your Oxfam situation.
Right, okay.
No, the root cause of that, you going, you left. Oh, I left because I was doing it because it made me feel good.
Yeah.
Right. Well, at the very bottom of any motivation for you to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Is if you think the very bottom, you think, I'm going to do this because I should be doing this because it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
There is a layer below that makes you feel good about it.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes you feel good. Yeah.
No, that's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, it was after the tsunami. It was a massive tsunami.
So you left because it was making you feel bad because you were helping people.
No, I left because I recognised
it was making you feel good.
Yeah, I left because I was like, I'm doing this purely for my. I don't wake up in the morning and give a second thought to the people I'm helping. It was 2003.
You mean on an individual level?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that though?
Well, it's where I was psychologically at the time. I was like, I don't like.
Oh,
that.
Okay.
I was doing it. There was a lack of integrity there. I was me leaving because it was only about me. There was more integrity there than staying for doing it for the wrong reasons. Anyway, I'm a strange character, dude. You know this.
Where were we?
We were talking about, well, basically, we're talking about you getting a kick from doing good.
Yeah.
Because
Which I'm not ashamed of.
No. Yeah, but you're on that side. When I'm talking about those crypto people, you're on that side of it. You are someone who, and this is what I think is quite interesting. And this is not advice, but the things that I put my money into, generally in life, I don't put my money anywhere that I don't think is a good thing, right?
You mean good on the spiritual level?
Kind of. I believe in what I'm spending money on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't just do, on a whim. So when I get involved in something, if I put some money into it, it's because it aligns with what I think is a good idea. It maybe aligns with my sort of worldview. I certainly wouldn't put money into something that didn't align with my worldview, because you vote with your money. So the fact that even if I put some money into something that I see someone go, I think that is a good idea, they're trying to do good. All the general sort of vibes behind it, right? It's not sketchy. These people are genuinely trying to do a good thing. I'm quite happy to put some money into that to enable them to try and do that. And that ties into the Constitution down thing. Those people went, wouldn't it be cool if we could buy a copy of the Constitution? Right, there you go. Here's 100 quid. I'll bang 100 quid into that. If I lose that 100 quid, whatever. Let's see if we can make that happen. Let's see if we can do some, change the Constitution down to, trying to. What's another one? There's another one called Blockbuster DAO.
Okay.
You read in on that?
No.
So Blockbuster DAO, it's slightly less serious than the Constitution one.
I hadn't heard of DAO until in this context.
Okay. But it's mega. DAOs are in some ways, they're very disorganized. They're new and they're very disorganized. But in some ways, they are potentially the future of work, or could be the future of a lot of people's work.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, Blockbuster DAO. You know Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Old video store
that
we used to go get videos from when we were teenagers and watch like Nightmare on Elm Street when we were 13 and shit. Right. So, Constitution DAO wants to buy Blockbuster, as in buy the rights to the company and everything.
I thought it was dead.
Well, I think it has like one store, doesn't it? I'm fairly sure there's one store and it's like a nostalgia store, and that's the only reason.
Really?
It exists. I'm fairly sure, yeah.
Okay.
So it certainly exists as an entity that you could buy the, copyright to, and run it. They want to buy Blockbuster and turn it into a new Netflix. Now, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's going to happen. A lot of these things are, should we do that for a laugh? But it's still the same thing. It's somebody going, that'd be mega if we did that.
Can you imagine if Blockbuster came back and was
Netflix.
bigger than Netflix?
But there you go. You're sold on you.
Yeah, I'm sold.
You're sold on. But that's just it. That's what blockchain can do. It's what blockchain, crypto, DAOs, this new ecosystem, Web3, if you want to call it Web3. That's the sort of things that can do. People from everywhere come together, bit of cash, organise, go make something happen.
Do you feel confident to just quickly explain Web3 to people?
Well, yeah, because it's
not a common term. It is not, regardless of what you think. It's It's not a common term.
Okay, that's it.
Just keep it at a high level.
Well, it's just so if you
the third evolution of internet.
Yes, that's basically it. It's the third evolution of the internet built on blockchain. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So we're in Web 2 now, as it is.
Well, you would know Web 2, yeah. So all the things like Facebook, all those things, Facebook, the internet that you know is Web 2. Web 3 is kind of built, it's kind of on top, but it's all blockchain. It's all blockchain applications and, yeah.
The back end, basically.
Yeah, so you won't know a difference. If you went on a Web3 site, you wouldn't know any difference probably, other than the fact that you'd probably be able to log in with your crypto wallet.
Yes, it's a back end change.
Yeah, like you probably wouldn't see it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it's a term used to talk about blockchain and all the little tangents of blockchain. That's kind of how I see it. And I think this is the thing as well. When we're talking about all this stuff, it isn't always important initially to really understand it. If you know what I mean? Like, you don't understand it because you potentially going to put money into it. But You don't need to go on a mega deep tech dive with all of this to be involved, because there's lots of people who can't do that. They're just not going to get it. You know, but as in, they would get it if they not tried, but like, you know what I mean? It would put a lot of people off. You can understand this stuff. Like, you don't understand it for what you probably do. But the average person doesn't understand how, when they go onto Amazon, put their details in and buy something, they don't really, they couldn't explain to you how that happens, technically. You couldn't explain how an email works, but you do it. You know, and we're from a generation that emails, when we remember when email happened, and you were like, what, I just put that in there and it goes somewhere? And it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's where we are with blockchain. That's how I see it. And crypto, it's just a new thing. It's my view anyway, it's a better way of doing a lot of things we already do, which is just as easy as doing it. It's just that you're not used to it yet.
Yeah.
That's my thinking. So if you can download an app, you can download a crypto wallet.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rubbish that flies about it as well.
Well, we know what that is.
Yeah, well, yeah. But you know, I think a blockchain in terms of, oh, what does that do? If I was going to explain it to my kids, oh, what's blockchain, Daddy? I'm like, 2 seconds, I'm in Gaz. No, I wouldn't. I explain it in 3 ways. It's a technology, like, yeah, it's a technology that communicates in a new kind of way, can do complex calculations in a new kind of way for whatever purpose. So part of whatever software, in whatever hardware, whatever. And it can also be used as a way to invest money, make money as part of it. You can do that. It's definitely 3 things, and then as a plus side, I see to it is that every bit of communication, every transaction that occurs is publicly visible.
Yeah, and unalterable.
And unalterable.
That's how I think about it. It's a database. It's a permanent ledger database that gets updated, say every 10 minutes. Gets updated every 10 minutes. And you can't, once something's been updated, you can't backdate it. You can't change anything that's happened before that time.
10 minutes is just an example.
10 minutes is just an example. Yeah. I thought I said that. I thought I said that, Hugh, but there you go. Yeah, so these are the things where we need both our faces. Yeah, so it's a ledger of record. It's like a database, but the difference between a database that most people are aware of, like a centralized database, would be that only a few people have access to update that database, and they can also go back and change the database prior to them being involved, if you know what I mean. The difference with blockchain is it's decentralized to the point where it's a decentralized consensus mechanism. So you can't change anything on it unless everybody agrees. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of different,
millions,
whatever, big numbers. A lot of people just think about it as a computer. 1 million people with a computer. And to make any changes to this database, they need to agree. There needs to be a consensus. So you can't bluff it. You can't go, right, let's all get together and put something fraudulent in, because not everyone's going to agree on that. Most people are going to go, no. You know what I mean? So
yeah, to conceptualize that. So let's say, because people think, oh, fraud, like you just said.
Yes.
People think fraud, or criminals paying criminals, right? So for example, let's say I pay money to. So I pay money to whatever in a fraudulent manner and a criminal manner, whatever, right? If I wanted to hide that record, so I do that. It goes onto the ledger that you're talking about, the distributed ledger transaction, the list, distributed transaction, DTL, DLT, whatever it is, the list goes onto that list, and that ledger, that list of transactions that are happening all the time, for whatever reason, that transaction, it may be a transaction in terms of a monetary transaction, so token transaction, or maybe just a transaction of information as part of the bigger piece, because this particular transaction is behind a website which is Web3 and it's doing whatever. Yeah, millions of these fucking things happening all the time. Anyway, each transaction goes into the ledger. Everyone can see that.
Yes.
You could go online now and see these transactions. What you would see is, code to an identification number, if you will.
Yes.
Sent this amount of information to this identification number, right? So if I wanted to hide that I sent this amount of information to this number, if I wanted to change that or hide that piece of information from the public, the catch is that in the process of me sending that information from A to B, it bounces off fucking thousands and millions of other users of blockchain, users being terminals, users being individuals. It bounces off all of that, and everyone has the same record. And in order to change that transaction and manipulate it to say something I want it to say that is not the truth, everyone has to do it. Everyone has to authorize it. You can't change anything.
So the scale,
it is pretty much one of the most visible and most transparent methods of communicating information there is. But you don't see what the content of it is. Right? As in, we're not talking about fucking viewing emails. We are saying,
we could, So I think that with the decentralized thing, the way I was trying to explain it on the way down is like, if I've been, because I knew we were going to get to this point where we were going to have to.
We try to avoid this.
No, people turn off at this.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Okay, so with the consensus and the scale of the consensus required makes fraud not a thing. In that sense, you can't fake things because people just go no. So if we have, say there's 5 terminals, there's me, you, and 3 other reg blokes who are running these terminals. If 3 of us get together, and obviously we'll call it 10 minutes, every 10 minutes, all 5 of us talk to each other and go, how much have you got of this data? Or what's this data look like? What's this data look like? We all have to agree, and then boom, new block. Yeah? And that happens every period of time. Yeah. Signed, there, can't change it. In order to do something fake, out of the 5 of us, 3 of us would have to go, I'm going to do something sketchy here. Right? So at that scale, that's doable. You could put sketches
5 people.
At 5 people, you could do that. But at the scale of millions of people doing this, millions of separate terminals,
which is what it is now,
it's just not a thing. That's kind of how I think about it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's trustworthy data that is open to everyone to see, and you can't change it backwards. And there's all sorts of implications of that tech-wise. That is a blockchain. Okay, but I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Right.
And obviously, just anyone wants any explanation of it, just send me a message. I'll send you a link to something that will explain it way better than.
I think you've done a good job. You've done a good job. Okay. Right. We're going to get off the technology subject.
We probably should.
Okay.
Yeah. So where can we go with that? So let me come back.
It all started off with SEG tying into giving to services, the same sort of philanthropical objective.
Good people try to do good.
Yeah.
And I'm a cynical individual. You've known me long enough to know that. We're all cynical. Cynicism is quite providing you have it under control, it's quite a good thing to have because it stops you falling into holes, and getting misled. So when you turn around to someone and say, see this project, it's going to give this stuff away just to do good. People go, yeah, of course they are, mate. What do you do? That's the first thing. You've got to be realistic about it. It's human nature. You go, yeah, of course. But it genuinely is. And the thing I love about it is the fact that the money input, it doesn't matter what your reasons for doing that are. You could be doing it for a good reason. You could be doing it because you just want to get rich. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. The output is still the same. More tokens staked on the platform, more rewards output, more 4% from those rewards going to service people. Okay, so we should probably explain where this is in the moment and what my position is. So I'm the general manager. That's my job. And it is literally what it is. I am. So we have a team. We have a tech people. So our CTO, our chief technical officer, a guy called Jens Albers, who's a mega guy. He has devs working underneath him. So you can think about the project in sort of 2 ways. There is the tech side with ninjas who could do this conversation asleep much better than we
I
just
don't
had.
know. Developers are. What was that?
That's your phone.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
Siri's.
apparently, development is that's my favourite thing to do.
Well, how about shut up? I thought you'd check that.
It's on silent. Go on anyway. Jesus Christ.
That's sketchy, isn't it?
That's never done that before.
That's a real problem. That's because we're talking about a disruptive technology.
And Google's kicked in.
Mm.
And it's a Google phone.
I don't know why the fuck you've got one of them.
Mate, that is well, I don't know either. Shit as well. It's the worst one I've ever had.
Put it outside.
It's off now, position off.
Yeah. So anyway.
Lucky we weren't telling secrets.
Oh my god. Jesus.
Go on.
Yeah, so-
Anyway, developers, mate. I don't think they
Yeah,
can-
maybe not
they-
devs,
yeah,
but-
mate.
Yeah.
They
Yen-
talk in binary code.
Jens
don't they?
could explain this much better than us, obviously. See, this is a very respected guy, very good guy. So you can think about the tech team there, but it's been a very deliberate decision made that actually the front-facing team, the team who are going to have to explain this, push it forward, and obviously we do have skills in running businesses and project management and all those things. But instead of having a blockchain nerd, I'm not saying I'm not a blockchain nerd, but a genuine blockchain nerd, trying to speak to your average guy, girl in the service profession who's got no time to listen about this because they've run off their feet. It's better to have that sort of personability coming from people from their background because we trust our own, don't we? That's just a fact. Of whether that's a good or bad thing. If you come to me and say, Gaz,
It's survival thing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's in our nature.
Evolutionary.
Yeah, it's in our nature. Can't help it. So it's been a very deliberate decision there made that actually the people who are forward facing with this should, as much as possible, come from a service background and understand the people that they're trying to get this across. Because we have a situation as a company where when we're trying to market this, where we've got two sorts of people that we have to try and get it across to. We have crypto native people who it's just another project that they might be able to make money from, and bonus, I get to do some good at the same time. So there's those people. So we don't have to really persuade them of anything. We just go, they basically say, well, where do you buy it? And we go, those places, that's where you buy it. No problem. They can work the exchanges. They're used to moving it around, moving their crypto from wallet to wallet and all that stuff. They understand staking. There's those people. That's not a hard sell. We'll sell them with two things. You're either going to make a load of money or you're going to put your money somewhere that's going to do some good. Done. But the other side of it is people who aren't crypto native, who have already turned off this conversation because we started talking about something that they've heard about in the pub probably, or have heard about in the news, and have gone, that's a scam, it's used by drug dealers, it's all dark web stuff. You know what I mean? There's those people.
And the reality is on that is this is coming. This is going to be daily life, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're just not at that stage where we recognise it yet.
100%.
Do you know what really surprised me when a couple of years back when before that 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
when I was mining and all that,
Yeah.
was that I didn't realise. So again, I was of that opinion at the time. Oh yeah, this is this going to go somewhere? It was when the conversation was, oh, Bitcoin's going to fail, blockchain and cryptocurrencies and all that. They're just, it's a fad. Someone's going
Those
to make.
people are still there, man.
Yeah, they are. No, yeah, but so if it's evolved that far, but at that point in the conversation, so a few years ago when all that was at the forefront.
It was the main narrative, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what I also learned was the same technology that they were saying is not going to be in existence was already in use by the biggest institutions in the world.
Yeah.
The biggest institutions in the world already applying the technology.
Of course, yeah.
But it's not like front page news because one, they weren't doing it. It wasn't invest in this token to make loads of money. It wasn't that. They were applying the technology for technological reasons to make more efficient the back end of whatever business or institution they're part of.
Yeah.
But still now, it isn't public for a lot of these big institutions. They don't make it public and sing and dance and shout about it that they're using it. And this shit is here to stay because of the stigma around it still.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's happening. This is happening.
100%.
It's happening. There were terminals in London 3 years ago,
Yeah.
where you could go and draw out a fucking cash point, where you could draw out tokens. And there are people around the UK now who go, "What? Are you joking?" No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I had seen it with my own eyes in London. First time I saw it, walked in a cafe in Old Street, underneath where I work in Marsac.
Yeah.
Walked in there, in the cafe, and in the corner was a terminal where I could put my bank card in
Yeah.
and convert my cryptocurrency. I didn't have it at the time. I did a little bit. Cryptocurrency and draw it out as fiat cash, as
Yeah.
normal cash. I could do it. That was 3 years ago.
Exactly.
There's cash point. They're out there.
Yeah.
It's just not here in your face yet. It's like it's coming.
Well,
it's
that's
happening.
it.
And need to learn about it, kids.
Well, this is exactly it, man. And it's the other reason why I'm into this, because for me it ties into personal responsibility. I think you have a responsibility to watch the horizon as an individual, and not everyone's got fucking time. It's difficult. I don't have time either, but I make myself do it, because you can't, if you don't understand what's happening, what's coming at you, you can't dodge it or ride it or do whatever you need to. You need that information to know what's coming. And the other side of me being, why I'm made up to be working for this company, is I'm now in a thing where it's my job. It's my job to, yes, I think I get to do good by redistributing the wealth, but it's my job to make sure the people that I care about, not in a, come here, I'm Jesus, I need to look after you sort of way, but I do care about service people. I respect them. I think they're cool people. They do a good thing. And a lot of them ain't got, even though they have. A lot of people will say they haven't got time to research this stuff. It's too hard. Don't understand it. It's not going to be a thing. The reality is most of the guys are sat watching Jeremy Kyle when it was on, drinking brews, and they could be reading about it. Or me anyway. Yeah. We've got plenty of time. You've got some downtime. But yeah, there's people in these certain professions worked off the heat. Generally, we don't have time. So making it as easy as possible to onboard people into crypto, and to that extent, I don't care about people buying SVS. Bonus. That's the thing I'm involved in. I think it's mega, but you need to understand this, even on the most broad level, so that when it starts hitting you in the face,
This being blockchain.
but blockchain in general, blockchain technology in general, when it starts to hit you in the face, or people start telling you about it, you know if they're misleading you or not. Because I think you have to have you need options. You need options and choice. And to be able to have options and choice, you need to be well informed. Okay, so I mean, let's look at blockchain for bad and good. Do you want to go there?
Yeah.
We got to follow you. Are you a clock?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see whether we're going to go down this or not.
Okay. It's my bladder I'm concerned about as well. Go
Well,
on.
we can stop and have a piss if we want. I don't care about that. It's up to you. Joe Rogan stops for wheeze. If you want to stop for a wee, stop for a wee.
Right, so quick piss.
Let's do it.
Right, back for a piss. Right, We've been going around the houses, haven't we? I know. No. We haven't been going around the houses, right? Why do people need to pay attention to the technology? Why?
Okay.
Because it means nothing at the moment to a lot of people.
Of course it doesn't. Yeah. So I think people have to understand that the technology is inevitable. It's being, as you were saying, it's being used by lots of places and institutions already, or at the very least they have plans to use it. This is going to be the back end to pretty much everything to do with your administration of life, or your data, or your money, all those things. Okay, so why I think it's important to do that as early as possible. So in the press, you will hear a lot of bad things about. You very rarely hear positive stories about crypto and blockchain and all that stuff. This generally still has that sort of stigma as being a scam or being used by, on the dark web by drug dealers and all those things because of anonymity. I know when I've spoken to policemen about this in the past, their first thing, because it's all they hear, is that's how drug dealers move their money.
How drug dealers move their money?
Well, yeah, how criminals move their money around. And of course they do. But it's not like they don't do that with physical cash as well. It's not like let's ban fiat currency or over-regulate fiat currency for that. You know, it's the same. You can still do it. Bad people are going to do bad things with things. That's just how it is. Okay, so why I think it's important to get into it now is I think you should have options. And what I personally see, this is what I see around me is the fiat system that we've had for, you know, in all our lifetimes, that we know nothing about, well, not nothing about, we've had no options from that. I feel like that's in kind of a managed decline. I feel like we're getting to the end of its workability, right? Because it's not backed by anything anymore. There's just problems with inflation everywhere. We keep having these boom and bust things every 10 years. It's just, it feels like it's running out of steam. And there's a different technology now that can do it better, which is blockchain, cryptocurrency, right? So states around the world have plans to make their own digital currencies.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go.
Can you elaborate a little bit on one of the ways that blockchain could potentially positively impact the impact of inflation and deflation? Like, how would it reduce that?
What do you mean?
Why would blockchain be able to do things differently? Why would it make a difference to fiat
Well,
currency?
as in a digital currency on...
So you referenced fiat currency. So what we got now,
Yeah.
and you said we've had these booms and busts, massive inflation, deflation.
Well, it was backed by something, wasn't it? So it used to be backed, but until the 70s, fiat currency, certainly the dollar, was backed by gold. Mm-hmm. And in the 70s, that stopped. It's not backed by gold anymore. It's not backed by anything, which is why you had to have these systems brought in and sort of controls with the monetary system in order to make sure it didn't inflate too much or deflate too much.
Why did they stop backing it by gold?
I think you need to Google that. It's
okay.
to do with America being the place where all the gold was stored. Google it, because I will get it wrong. To be frank,
okay,
I will get it wrong. I'm aware of what happened, but I will get it wrong.
Okay,
yeah. So it's probably best to. The point is, it is your money is no longer backed by something. It's not backed by gold.
So the value is
whatever kind of whatever they want it to be. If you know what I mean. You know, it's not linked in the same way, and it's why since then you've had these ups and downs. It's hard to control. So the idea that you could create a currency where you have total control over the supply, and you could program how it was spent, is very attractive to governments. Yeah. We just offline here we were talking about this, and I was amazed you hadn't thought of the sort of implications of this.
So when you say the total control over what it can be spent on, that meaning
okay, so
that meaning that, let's say I'm using Britain coin.
Yeah, Britain coin. Okay.
Britain coin, the Great British coin.
Yeah,
GBC.
The
Great British coin.
Yeah.
Which has replaced the Great British Pound.
Yeah.
The British coin, because it's digitally based.
Yeah.
Then if I wanted to go and spend it on something that the authorities or the government decided that I shouldn't be able to spend it on that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe they decided that thing is criminal. No, you can't go and buy from this thing because that's marked as a criminal account.
Yeah.
Or for other reasons,
well,
they
exactly.
could literally prevent me from paying money.
Yeah, digital money is programmable money.
Yeah.
So,
whereas with fiat, I can spend the money on what the fuck I want. They can't
of course you can.
Yeah.
Obviously, banks
in my hand.
Banks can take money in and out of your accounts.
Yeah.
No one can do that to your other crypto wallets, so like Bitcoin and Ethereum and things like that. You can't do that there. But yeah, anyway, sort of digressing. So refocus.
Sorry.
That's fine, man. Refocus. Okay, so
do we need another piss?
No, yeah, exactly. Let's start again.
Yeah.
Right, let's do that. Let's start again. You can let's pretend we started again, and we can decide. Okay. All right. So one of the reasons that you get
we ain't starting again. You know, I don't fucking edit shit.
Anyway,
Jesus Christ.
One of the reasons that you get a lot of bad news stories in the you don't hear anything good about crypto is because the current financial system It's part of an established order, right? And you do not need to go into any sort of conspiracy theory, whatever stuff about it. There is a state of being that has been happening in the world. There's basically a pattern of behaviour in the way we've been doing things, normality, for all of our lifetime. And there are people and institutions who are very set in that. Quite like it. They've done quite well out of it. And the way blockchain basically gives an alternative to that, for cryptocurrency in particular, gives an alternative to that, a different way of doing things, a different financial system, a decentralized financial system that is controlled by the people and not by central banks, right? So as I said before, there's a general vibe, I feel anyway, and I know if you do some reading on it, it's a bit of a consensus on it. The fiat system is sort of, it's becoming a problem. It's sort of waning. It's like kind of like a managed decline. Inflation's going really bad. Look at America. And at some point that's going to become untenable. And when that becomes untenable, these governments are going to create their own digital currencies. It's a sensible thing to do. You know, it's just how it is. They will create their own digital currencies. So exactly like, it'll be a digital pound, just like a Bitcoin pound, if you know what I mean.
The GBC.
The GBC that we were talking about, right? So there are ramifications for that happening. It means they can control supply of it and stuff like that, but they can also control how it's spent. Okay, so from a purely, again, some people when they talk about this stuff go New World Order, fucking psychopath stuff, and it's just there's no need. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. If you were a government who had you're trying to run a country, and it's difficult, and it always comes down to practicality. It's very difficult. So if you could say, okay, from the 1st of January, this isn't how it's going to happen, but imagine this scenario. From the 1st of January, we're changing over to a digital currency. So all the pounds that you've got in your bank account, they're now going to be digital pounds. Physical cash, not a thing anymore. Hand it in, we'll exchange it, go through that system. But you are basically going to have an app on your phone, just like the NHS one you've got now, that will have all your money in it. Right? That's your government wallet. And we will, or you're paying whatever will go into there. However, that money can be programmed to be spent in line with the best outcome for the country. So let's say, looking at what we've got at the moment, where we're trying to do lovely environmental things. Maybe you have a ration of petrol or electricity to do your car every month. Everybody has that much, so you can fill it this many times. You can spend this much portion of your wages on that. Yeah, and that's obviously changeable. That's a push of a button change for everybody. Let's say, actually, we think it's a bad idea for people to eat meat. It's a bad idea. It's animals, don't want to do that. Let's try and get everyone eating more veg. So you do that. You can create a quota where you can only spend so much money on meat every month, but maybe you can buy as much veg or whatever as you want. Now, depending on the problem is, there's good sides to that. Some of that could be really helpful. You know, let's say you've got a huge section of your society who are obese and they're a drain on the health service or whatever. Whatever you like, you can make up anything you want. Imagine that's the case. Those people specifically, because you've checked your Fitbit thing that you're wearing it, you have to log your weight in. You're too heavy. Your BMI is too high. You can't buy fizzy drinks. Stops you buying these things. And all this sounds crazy, but it's just a factual thing. You could stop the obesity thing, in theory, doing that because you wouldn't allow fat people to, I don't know, you wouldn't buy people who were overweight and had health problems to do the thing, or like smoking.
Or you wouldn't allow healthy people to buy dog shit food.
Yes. Whatever. You see my comment. I know you're trying. I know you're being careful.
No, I'm not being careful. It's a point. It's a point out.
As
you're talking, all of the implications of all this is popping into my head.
Yes.
So you flip it on the other side.
Yeah.
As a small business owner.
Yeah.
As a small business owner, and I sell a product.
Yeah.
And let's say all of a sudden I need to get a tick in the box to make it this sustainable thing.
Yeah.
And I need to prove all that.
Yeah.
And for some reason I can't do that because cost, for example.
Yeah.
And my business has been running for God knows how long, but because I can't ethically source the straws that I put into the vegan drink that are in my recyclable bottles, but because the straws are ethically sourced, the government could turn around and say any businesses without this certification, the Great British coin will not be able to be spent as businesses.
Of course, good.
So come in, all of a sudden you can't accept any more payments.
Yes.
And there isn't any fiat currency, there isn't any physical cash,
There's no
so I can't
choice.
take it. Right. I'm not saying that's a bad or a good
It's just
example.
fact.
It's
It's
just
a
a point
statement.
from the other. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, can I ask a question?
Okay.
What is the difference between that Great British coin, so being able to have that level of control over what the coin holder can spend it on, to Bitcoin, for example? Can Bitcoin do that?
What do you mean?
Restrict what if I hold
No,
Bitcoin
because these things
now,
are programmed already. That's the thing. These things would be programmed specifically
So
for
I'm
a
asking,
certain
that's what
thing.
I'm asking. What's the
Yeah.
difference?
So, well, the difference is these things are controlled. They're not controlled in the same way. They're decentralized. You can't make these decisions about these things.
It's already there.
Yeah, it exists already. So I was getting to this.
Oh, sorry.
I know you're trying to.
No, I've got questions, mate. I'm like
I
a
know.
moron, right? With this, I'm asking, as you're talking about things, my head's going, oh my God, there's fireworks going.
I thought you'd
Holy
I
shit,
thought you
I've
thought
got to
about
ask
this.
you.
We
I'll
spoke
forget
about
otherwise.
this last time I was on.
What do you mean?
Last time we spoke about it.
Why do I feel like I'm being chastised? Yeah.
You're not being
What
chastised.
have I done wrong?
But last time I
It's
was
my fucking studio.
Oh, sorry, mate.
I keep swearing now as well.
I know.
Sorry.
I'm trying not to do it as well. 'Cause I'm trying to be nice. I alluded to this stuff last time I was on. You need to rewatch the last time I was on. I pulled it out of my arse effectively as some dystopian nightmare, as like a laugh.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then COVID happened.
And now we're here.
And now some of that stuff doesn't seem quite so dystopian. Okay, so but like I say, you don't have to go
Well, it's not.
down that road.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
So that scenario there is a bad scenario. Like obviously the way we've described that there, depending on what your worldview is. So that's that scenario there where you can't drive your car so far, help the environment. Can't use much electricity, help the environment.
Mega.
Got to, you can't eat as many animals, help the environment. All those, or help. Yep. Imagine it, but that's just it. This is the point I'm getting to. If that's your worldview, you're like, yeah, that's mega. These people are doing all this bad stuff. Just stop them. Awesome. However, that's with the current government. What if the government changes and says, actually, big guy, all this environmental stuff's rubbish. Climate change is not a thing. Not a thing. So you can cut this and make me sound like a psychopath if you like. But it's not a thing. Actually, we need to eat more animals. There's too much soy. That's going to be a problem. We're all becoming weak. Everyone's got low testosterone. Everyone has to eat this much meat every day. We're going to do factory farming, produce as many animals as possible. We don't care about how they're
Fossil fuels are great.
everything, all those things. Suddenly, that's a problem, isn't it? If that's like, well, that's against my worldview. I don't want to eat meat. Why are you making meat so I'm like money can only buy meat? You just have to think of both scenarios. The point is, people should be free to do what they want with their money, and the idea of a currency that could be programmed to do with whatever is the taste du jour of the government or anybody is a problem. You've earned that money. It is your money. You should be able to spend it as you see fit.
Is this what is seen as something, without going down the
Yeah.
again, we're going to stop in the rabbit hole in a minute, like in about 10 seconds.
We'll
but
try.
Is this scenario where governments see the need to move to digital currency and do it by creating their own digital currency? That's how they see. This is what is going to happen. They see this happening. And when I say
Yeah.
they, I mean the economic and the
Yeah.
economical experts
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the top
yeah,
of the tree. That's how they see this happening. There's
Yeah.
going to be a move to digital currency, and it will be a sovereign currency for
Yeah.
each country
Well,
because they'll want to control it themselves.
yeah, you would think so.
In the
That's-
same way as you control the Royal Mint,
Yes.
you control the digital mint.
Yes.
I just coined that phrase.
Good, isn't it?
The digital mint. Is
Like
that a
it.
real thing, or have I just invented that?
I don't know.
Come on.
You
Digital
can,
mint.
Do you want to invent it?
Yes,
Yeah.
digital mint. The digital mint. That's cute, mega.
Yeah.
But am I right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
it's going to be in countries' interests to do that. There's going to be.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Of course, it does.
Yeah.
And it depending on what flavour of country you've got. You look at China, digital yuan, exactly. Connected to your behaviour. Behave well. Your money's easier to get hold of. You can get loans. This is what I was talking about last time.
This
with
is
the
now.
social
Right?
credit
This
score.
is the situation now.
Well, it started in China. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it started in China, and obviously, I have family, Chinese family, who
Oh.
know about this. Well, brother's wife's Chinese. I've got two Chinese English nephews. So I don't talk about China from a completely. I know a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got a bit of experience. I've been there a few times as well. But yeah, that's just their society works a different way, and so they've found that actually this sort of thing works quite well for them.
Okay.
So anyway, that is one possibility, and I'm not saying that everything's going to be nightmare, horrible. Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it will be programmed incredibly sensibly for the good of the country. Obviously, we ain't all going to agree on what the good of the country is, which is the issue. Why we get onto this and why people need to learn about it is all other existing digital currencies are a hedge against that. They give you an option. It doesn't matter what they are. Let's look at the OG. So Bitcoin. You hold Bitcoin, that is a hedge against these things. It's an option. You put your money there, or some of your money, just some of your wealth into that.
Not investment advice.
No. If you were to do that, though, it's not investment advice. I don't know anything, as this conversation proves. But yeah, it gives you an option. My fear is basically this. People aren't given a choice. So nobody is educated on how this stuff works. They don't even understand that it's a possibility that money can be programmed to be spent within parameters. And then one day they wake up and they don't own any other digital assets at all. And all of their wealth and ability to earn money and all of those things is stuck in a system that they cannot get out of, that they don't have a hedge against. That's my concern. And by educating people now, all it does is give people options. Because some people would love that system. Imagine a scenario where, especially if you get a situation where, with automation of jobs, the workforce changes, and that's going to happen. Loads of stuff's going to be automated. Not everyone's going to have to go to work in the same way. So then universal basic income comes in. Some people will be quite happy. I'm not judging these people. Some people will be quite happy to sit at home, play on the computer, watch TV, chill, play with their family, and just have a wallet that the government gives them this much to survive on every month. And as long as they don't spend it outside of these parameters, everyone's a winner. Some people would love that. They'd love it. But some people wouldn't. And that's I think you should have options. So that's the education side of it anyway. That's why I think you should try to at least be aware of this and the implications of it.
Yeah.
Because I think this is just my personal perspective, and it's all linked to why I got involved with giving services, why I started SEG in the first place. I believe in personal responsibility, and service is part of that. I think service is good for you. I think you being responsible for your own financial situation is quite a good thing. I don't think someone should control how you choose to live your life. And that is connected to how you're able to spend your money. Yeah. And we are, one of the problems we have in this, the blockchain community in general, and the crypto community, is regulation. So you have institutions that don't really understand what they're trying to regulate, because it's a very fluid thing, blockchain is. It's changed every 2 minutes. It's hard to keep up with. And obviously, there are scams everywhere, as there are with everything. And some regulation is needed in order to keep completely uneducated people safe from themselves in a way, and from people taking advantage of them. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think currently what we have is a situation where there is the established order that is being disrupted by this new technology, and the established order either can't move fast enough to get on top of it and keep established and keep their current position, or are scared that they could just, they could lose their nice life that they've got. And this is individuals and institutions. It's a disruptive technology. That's what technology is meant to do. It's meant to disrupt and get better over time. So, kind of lost a train of thought there. Oh yeah, so regulation. I feel like at the moment, because there's like this genie that's escaping the bottle in a way, with blockchain, becoming more into public consciousness. Institutions are just flapping and going, right, we need to put this back in its box a little bit. And I think they're over-regulating in some respects. They're trying to control it too much. And It comes down to that balance between people being safe to spend their money as they want, but also being allowed to spend as they want. Because what people who are just getting into this, what you may find is, if you go to buy some cryptocurrency, your bank may say no. Some banks will not let you buy it. At the very least, a lot of them will they'll deny the transaction, and you'll have to ring them and say, please, can I spend my money, please? And it's sketch. It's like, all you're doing is holding my cash for me. That's all you're doing. And obviously they're making money off your cash while it's sat in their account. It doesn't just sit there. They lend it out and make money off it. That's how banks work. It's their business. That's fine. But you don't get to tell me how to spend my money. If I want to go and lose all my money spending over here, I should be allowed to. I understand. Like
is that not only the situation now though because of it? They're in a situation where, so banks, for example, diligent banks, for example, who also want to protect your money for you. They're in a situation where it's hard for them to tell the scams from the real stuff in general, because they do that not only for some digital currencies, or a lot of digital currencies, they do it for other things like other types of payments to whatever.
If you got random payments on the other side of the world, they go, hang on, mate.
Well, geographically based, they also do it like to individual accounts, to stuff. Is that the case there?
Well, I'm not saying it's completely wrong.
I see your point.
I'm just saying there's a balance.
They have that ability to.
Yeah, they have the ability, but they have policy. Yeah. But they shouldn't have policy that you cannot spend your money at a crypto exchange. You know what I mean? Like crypto exchanges, and this is another thing that people should get used to when they start stepping into this world that is just different. When you look where these places are based, these exchanges, they're not going to be in the UK or the US. These, what you would, because the regulation is an issue. So they will be based in places like the Cayman Islands or British Virgin Islands or Singapore or Dubai or Belize. There's these places that are more open regulatory crypto-wise, have better policies or more open policies that allow these places to do business. So it's just a switch of mindset about what is normal. It's like another thing, like when you join a crypto exchange, like a centralized one normally, or just a decent exchange, they have a thing called Know Your Customer, where you have to, and it freaks people out, you have to show your ID. They will. You'll join, you'll sign up, and it will send you like a thing saying, okay, you need to take a picture of your ID and send it to us. Then you need to take a selfie so we can see that you match the ID. Now, there's crypto complete purists who only mine it and don't want anything to do with that, and they all buy everything decentralized. That's fine, they can do that. But for the average on the street, it's probably okay for you to do those things, but it's not normal. It sounds like a scam. Someone say, right, give us your picture of your passport.
I don't think so. Not these days. No, I don't think so. Not
I've
the last couple of years. Maybe
that.
before.
Okay.
Not the last couple of years. I'm quite used to having to do
Well, that's
that
good.
for different things. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Don't think so. And it's, to be honest, it's also a reassurance thing.
But I think
as long as I know what I'm doing it
true.
for, as long as I know what I'm doing it for.
Yeah.
So, for your example of an exchange where I've gone and purchased crypto in the past,
but it's just it.
But I'll do my as a Joe Blogs, I'll do my due diligence and go, okay, this cryptocurrency platform. This is what I have to use to buy this crypto. Or this is what I've been recommended.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look elsewhere online and go and look at the reviews. You can do it anything else and go, is this legit or is it not?
Yeah.
And then you go, okay. And then you sign up, you give your ID. I like especially on the crypto side, I like something that asks me for some form of verification that way. Because in my head, that means that it's much more difficult for a fucking criminal to use it for nefarious activities.
No, I agree.
Just on that basis.
I agree.
Because also where I'm, it's an exchange. It's not something holding my currency. I'm just using that to get my currency.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you can store it on the exchange.
You can do that.
Very bad practice. You shouldn't do that. Yeah. But my point is that if you are completely new to this, you just no one's talking you through it. No one's telling you anything. You've heard about you've heard something. He goes, I'm going to try and buy this crypto stuff. And you don't know what's normal, and you just go to an exchange and starts asking you for your ID and stuff. It puts people off. I've tried to help people on board with this who are going, I'm not putting my ID in. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? It's about recognizing what is normal behavior. If you're trying to do this stuff, you should do that. And actually, for Joe Blogs, that's actually a really good thing.
Yeah.
What's that mean? Time to go.
Right. Anything else to finish off on before we give the relevant links and all that?
No, not really. I mean, I would urge people to just give yourself 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Have a little read about it.
Where should they go first then?
Okay.
For a general overview.
Any of the big exchanges actually have really good learning things. If you go like the Coinbase, you go to Coinbase, it has like learning, and you go to learn, and it will actually talk you through the process, and you can earn little bits of crypto as you do it.
And how it all
Fairly
works
sure
as well,
that's
I suppose.
yeah. So it basically takes you from hero to having a wallet with a couple of little bits of other cryptos in. I haven't done that process myself, but I know people who have, and you will get like point whatever of a Bitcoin to learn. So it's a brilliant onboarding process, and any of the really big exchanges will have that type of thing. Any of the Bankless podcasts are good; they're really good guys, and quite sort of Ethereum heavy over Bitcoin. That's another thing you should be used to in blockchain as well. There's a bit of tribalism, but it's part of the fun in a way.
It's a different conversation.
It is a different conversation. I'm not going down that road. Yeah, but yeah, just give yourself a bit of a chance and have a look. And absolutely, if this interests you, and I'm not even talking from a given to services SVS token sort of standpoint here. If you just want to ask a question, send me a DM, and I will at least send you a link to somewhere you can go and do your own reading. And if we get that out of this, that's the best thing. It is absolutely, blockchain in general is a tool, and you can use it for good things and you can use it for bad things. That's like any other tool. But you can do some incredible good with it. And the DAOs and those sorts of decentralized people coming together to achieve something, that's one of the best things about it, I think. If you think about it in your head, there's currently two financial communities. There's the centralized financial community, who 90% of people are in, and probably like 99% of people are in, if we're actually honest. Where you go to your bank and your bank help you do things. There's another side of it that is decentralized, and it's a very vibrant and crazy but really good community who believe in taking responsibility for their financial future and using different financial tools to generally give you better options in life and give you control over your financial future. And it's just fun. It's just a good place. It sounds a bit shit, but I think it's a very vibrant and fun place to be. It feels cutting edge because it is.
I agree. Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just on that, when you do start delving into the whole technology thing, ignoring the currency side, the whole just blockchain in general, you see the scope of applications or ways that are applying this technology across the board. Some shit is crazy.
Well,
some stuff.
It's called red pilling for a reason, isn't it? You get red pilled into it, and that's you like, whoa, hang on, I've seen behind the curtain here. Look at all the stuff I can do. But this way, like just to end with a little fun thing here. One of the things I'm currently doing, and my mate is doing, there's a game, right? It's a play-to-earn metaverse game where you can basically buy. Sounds like fucking crazy. But basically, buy spaceships in the metaverse, right?
I'm in.
Yeah. We'll speak about it. It's called Star Atlas, right? So basically, it's like staking in a way. It's similar to SVS in a way, but your tokens represent spaceships, and more you stake, the more spaceships you buy for your side, right? But you get paid interest for providing these spaceships to your side, and just spaceships and logistical support and bases and things like that. Right, it's being built at the moment. It's going to be a huge metaverse game, but that's kind of my point. You can do some insane stuff. You go, what? You are making money by staking spaceships in the metaverse? You're like, well, yes, I am. Yeah. My God. Anyway, I'll show
you. So first off, if people want to contact you, how do they get hold of you?
So Twitter, Gaz Walsh 3. Instagram, Gaz Walsh. I'm on that. I think that's what I am. I am still the person behind the Synergies Guild social media. So if you talk to that, you're generally going to speak to me, as long as I'm not too busy. But anything to do with the crypto and the block, same thing. If you're interested in what I've said about it as a project, as just crypto for good, trying to give back to service people, go to givingtoservices.com. Just read the website. Read the website, see what you think. If you've got any questions, come at me. It's Giving to Services token on Instagram and on Twitter. They're the best places. Just come and ask the question. We'll tell you about it. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. But yeah, it's. I was going to say something about gaining them, but we won't talk about those things, will we? Yeah, you can do all right. You can do all right.
Another podcast.
Yeah, you can do good things for good people. That's the best thing. You give back to good people.
Cool. Mate, exciting, very exciting, interesting to see you do something in line with SEG that isn't SEG. Always interesting what you're doing, mate. I'm like a little pest from far going, what's he doing now?
Yeah. I was feel disappointed we don't do more rabbit holes. We've got to be serious. We can't do rabbit holes. But there you go.
Well, there's never be a next time.
I know.
Be a next time. Perfect end. Been a pleasure, guys.
Always is.
Do it again soon. And let's go get some scoff. Cuban scoff.
Yeah, let's go get some food.
All right.
Meat.
That's it. Thank you for watching the H Hour podcast. If you're enjoying the podcast and you haven't already done so, please subscribe here, around about there. I'm hoping it's around about there where the button's going to appear. If it's not already appeared. You can also, if you want to listen to the podcast on your commute, for example, when you're driving, when it's not practical to watch the podcast, you can listen to it. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, it's everywhere. It's on all of the common and not so common podcast apps. You can also, if you wish to do it, become a patron of H Hour. Becoming a patron of H Hour, you get access to all of the interviews before anyone else. So this interview with this guest was released days, if not weeks, before it was on release to the general public. And you also get access to exclusive interviews, which I do with each guest, that last about 5-10 minutes, that are based on questions that the patrons themselves of H Hour have chosen. And each guest, this one included, gets asked those questions before the main podcast starts getting recorded. It's like a pre-podcast interview, lasts about 10 minutes. And those interviews are really insightful, really enjoyable, nice and short, and they're only released to patrons. They never get released to the public. I don't know why I had a little stutter there. You also get access to a Discord community, exclusive Discord community only for patrons. You also get invited to a monthly Zoom call with myself and all the other patrons, and very often, most months, we have a previous podcast guest comes onto that Zoom call and has an exclusive Q&A with the patrons. In addition to this, there's monthly giveaways. We give away gifts to my Patreon supporters, and it's always, predominantly veteran-owned stuff. I'll go and buy veteran-owned apparel, veteran-owned product services, and I'll give them away to my Patreon supporters. And I'll also do exclusive invites for events, so you'll get freebie tickets to events. To become a patron of H Hour, go to patreon.com/HK podcasts. I'm spelling Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/HK podcasts. Hit become a patron, and I'll see you on the next Zoom Q&A if you do. Oh, you also get your name in the credits. Thanks for watching. I will catch you next time.